now.
How you doing, everybody? This is Dennis Michelson. Welcome to the Matchup Lab here on the Sports Affiliation. And this is where Professor John Bush and I will give you some good picks from both the winners and losers, the over and unders, but also how these games might fit into your fantasy football lineups as well. And join him as he does each and every week here on the Matchup Lab because he is the fantasy professor. He's a real professor. It's John Bush. And John, oh my goodness, the playoffs starting, and we have such a spread between the great games and the bad games this week and a lot of lopsided games. This is a tough week to handicap.
It is. We got Rams Detroit 55. We got Philly Vegas 38.
Woof.
That's a big spread. So we covered, folks, we covered three games in our regular podcast. So check those out. We had a data discussion on snaps and their predictions on the Science of Fantasy Football discussion. And hopefully, maybe I'll post it here and you can hear that as well, help you for next year and maybe even help you break some ties this week on some things. So, Dennis, we do squirrels and huskies here. What is squirrels and huskies?
Well, squirrels are those annoying games that are the low scorers and they just drive you crazy because you're
Yeah.
not sure who to
Short
pick.
drive for you and I.
Oh, very short drive for you and I. And, the squirrels were driving my dog crazy
Yeah, I
earlier in the
saw
week.
that video.
About over, so I sent you about 35 seconds
Oh,
of
it
what
was crazy. Your
of
husky was running around and that squirrel was laughing.
and she did that for almost 40 minutes chasing that poor thing. It was not a particularly cold day out, and she was actually overheated by
Well,
the
now,
time she
Dennis,
came
out
in.
here in Arkansas, okay, that's called supper, and you don't want a lean squirrel for your dumplings, Dennis. So we
No.
don't do that out here. We don't let the dogs play with the squirrels. That takes that excess, makes them lean and chewy. So we like them fat and sassy for the pie.
Oh, there you go. And the husky game are those big, beautiful, fluffy. Yeah, we overfeed our dog. She's so spoiled. But those big, beautiful husky games are the ones where lots of points are scored. And if you got more of your fantasy football starters from those games, you are probably smiling from ear to ear. Our smallest of these scoring games, Philadelphia and Las Vegas, Las
Yep,
Vegas with a
9.
backup quarterback, even.
Yeah. Oh man. It's the only thing crazy is Philip Rivers starting, and we talked about that here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so let's see here. We're talking game 9 right here.
And
Philly and Philly 29, Vegas 8. So the reason this is 38 is because they don't think Vegas is going to score anything, basically, just like Rivers and company. I think they had what predicted 7 points. So
yes.
uh, you know, very strange. 10 and a half. I'm not sure the latest line, but Phillies at home, they should just crush, and they need to. They've been a little wonky. They need to keep it going to get in the playoffs and keep going. Vegas, there is nothing good to report, Dennis. They have a little bit of an opportunity with the rushing and kicker, but their defense sacks and catches interceptions and fumbles. So they're actually, believe it or not, a streaming more because Hurts has been turning it over. So there is a streaming opportunity, but Philly is extra sweet this week. And if you got Philly D, you should collect
Oh,
pick six, lots of. It should be goodness. This should help you if you're going against Pitts. Get you, 10, 15 extra points, you hope. Uh, Philly, it's all about the rush and the pass, so they have a lot of variation. I'm worried about Goddard there, Dennis. He does have a tough situation, as well as Bowers, and Bowers is usually the show. So hate to hate to see that. You know, glad my Bowers share is in. Gets a bye this week, so I can maybe regroup for next week because they need to be tender with him this week, so he's still running and catching next week. Dennis, I got to call him up and tell him to do that. In the script, I got to slip that in the script, Dennis. The script that they make. Yeah,
Oh
Dennis, I saw
yeah.
the latest script. Uh, no way, KC, I believe, is the headline on the script. So it's very sad, and we talked about that. Philly should be versatile and they should do what they want. And I don't know if they need 29 points to beat Vegas. Philly at home is balanced. They have been declining though. And Vegas away is all about the rush. So Vegas got to get the rushing so that opens up the pass. And if they can't do that, they probably will not. The spread will hold pretty well here. So that looks like Vegas's hope is to try to rush more than pass, and Philly is balanced and should do what they need to do and collect this week.
So the spread has gone up to 12 and a half now
Yeah, I
with
could
the
see
announcement
that. I could see that.
announcement that Pickett is in the starting lineup, but
Yeah,
the over-under is not adjusted at
yeah,
all, which is curious.
yeah.
I don't think that this will be a very high-scoring game, but 38 and a half, my goodness, I can't see this game being under 40. I like the over reluctantly because I don't think that, first of all, Geno Smith was not playing well anyway.
No,
It's not like he was lighting it up. So to lose your starting quarterback who's been really average, maybe Pickett will be okay.
no.
Like, I don't know. I'm not expecting him to throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, but maybe he's not as big of a drop off. So maybe this game will be a little bit closer. Philadelphia has not really liked to beat anybody up this year. They've been kind of a weird team in that regard. They've not been very efficient on offense at all. And they've been finding ways to keep games close. So I'm going to reluctantly take the over in this one. I do like Philadelphia to win the game, but I think it will be a bit closer than that. Cleveland and Chicago is our other game that qualifies as a squirrel.
And it's going to be a frozen squirrel, right,
A
Dennis? Very cold.
frozen.
You're the weatherman.
Oh yeah, yeah. As the father in Christmas Story would say, they're gonna freeze their keisters off.
Okay, so we need some Chicago keystering to beat Cleveland 27-12, 7.5, 40. Chicago is at home. There's nothing that really stands in their way. Looks like the kicker, Santos, has an opportunity if there's not wind. And Chicago is a great streaming D this week, so play them early and often. Cleveland is not a streaming D. But as I look at these DAPs, Dennis, this could be a surprising Tillman touchdown. Maybe he gets some love there, and the quarterbacks. This could be trickier than people think here if the wind cooperates. And nothing that I see should stop either one of these teams from doing what they can do. I just, nothing's dramatic. And I do note that wide receivers, Judy could have a game, Dennis. This could be a JJ game this week, and Tillman might collect a touch. Could be an interesting parlay there. Two touchdowns from those guys here. Roma Dunze is out for Chicago, right? Is that
Listed
or
as questionable, but
questionable? So we
leaning
don't
the
know.
wrong way right now.
Okay, so but Moore has not been able to take advantage of that. So,
No,
but
no,
Burton hadn't stepped up like you think either. Loveland,
no.
I think, is where, and then the Swift Benange, it's to play them both. There's nothing here that says don't play them both. I would play them both. I'm playing my Swift and Monongai shares probably and hoping for 13, but I'm greedy and want more. Chicago's at home. It looks like they're 8% less rush and pass. They just haven't been. They've been below league average this year.
Yep.
But and Cleveland on the other hand, all about the pass. Look at that, 12%, and look at the DAP. So I'm optimistic that Sanders might actually get a couple of touchdowns. Then this could be a little trickier than people think here, Dennis. This may not be as slam dunk as Vegas would have us believe. This could be closer. So I'm not sure I'm buying the spread. Over under 40. I don't know. I'm suspicious of this game here. I did pick Chicago, but I'm not this. I could think about Cleveland to a surprise this week.
Yeah, Cleveland could pull off the surprise. I think this game will be a little bit closer. It is going to be bitterly, bitterly cold out there, though. Wind alone won't be a factor, but a 10-mile an hour wind with a surface temperature of 8 degrees, which is
Mm-mm-mm.
the possibility on the low side for game time tomorrow. Ooh, that's brutal
What's that
cold.
feel like? About a minus 20 or
It's gonna
something?
be, yeah, it's gonna be a minus 20 on the feels like temperature, the wind chills. So when
Whew.
it gets that cold, I don't want the kickers because that ball is gonna be like it's gonna be like kicking a brick, and
Dennis, I
it
saw
it
Brady over there on the sidelines with the deflating the
oh, got the
balls. I'm
heater.
just telling you,
Oh, take a little air out,
yeah, little air out.
little heater, little heating the balls up. Yeah,
Ain't no telling what they're doing now.
that's what they're gonna do. But yeah, I like this game to be pretty close, and that's where the Vegas betting is going. 53% are taking the points in Cleveland right now.
Uh,
So it's very
that's.
interesting.
I think there's enough in here that makes enough people suspicious
Oh yeah,
about
91% are taking Chicago on the money line. I wouldn't make that bet because
no,
they're minus 394, and that's
no.
too cheap
I
for me.
want some odds if Cleveland wins.
And I like the under here because I think it is going to be brutally cold. I think the cold weather will affect things. I think both teams will be more likely to turn the ball over as well. So it could be a pretty ugly game in that regard from the scoring. So I agree. I'll probably play uh, my shares of both Swift and Menanje. But that's reluctantly. I'll probably start my Judkins, but again, I'm looking for better alternatives here because I think you could take in a very, very cold game, unless they get in the get in the end zone more than once, you could take that ceiling of points down in the cold, even for the rushing game. Well, enough about those games that are going to leave a nasty taste in our mouth. A squirrel can be kind of squirrely and greasy as well.
Lean,
But
lean.
the Huskies
Yeah.
are looking good this week. Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Burrows he's back. And Baltimore 28, Cincinnati 23, 2.5. Baltimore's an away favorite. I'm not sure I'm buying all that. 51.5. Lots of scoring. Baltimore looks like it's rushing and tight ends and kickers, and you can stream the defenses. Cincinnati does play rough on the wide receivers, but I don't know if Bateman's playing. they've had a they have had an underperforming, Dennis, as we talked about on wide receivers and the snap data. They've been underperforming since week one
Oh
on
yeah.
their wide receivers, and this doesn't help that scenario at all. So I think it's the rushing and Lamar trying to get a little. He needs to move around and hit Mark Andrews about 3 times for my Mark Andrews shares. Dennis, I'm since they're letting me write the script this week, that's part of it, and lots of kicking here. Looks like there's your parlay right there, folks. Is you take the kickers, get about 2 field goals each. There's your parlay right there if you're in game parlay with maybe an Andrews touchdown if you want to make a 3 leg out of it. Cincinnati is Gersecki's going to have to earn his biscuits, so it may not be a Gersecki week. I did pick him up just in case some injuries. He's not. I'm not playing him unless I gotta. But right now he's on the bench. And Chase should do his thing. Higgins is out, so Tinsley or Lavovich or whoever could collect something. But I think it's a Chase game, and I think Cincinnati. This could be collection. I think Burrow is going to have some wind in his sails to rush a little bit more than people. He was scrambling last week a little bit, and I like that. And rushing should be fine. Cincinnati loves to pass in the home, 21% rushing, about 8% less. So it's going to be a passing forward game. Chase should get about, what, 10 catches? I mean, he's going to get you 20, I think. If he doesn't, then that's going to be a lot of my teams are going to be sad. Baltimore is a balanced away, a little bit less on passing, so nothing. Baltimore has been declining in efficiency, though, Dennis, and Cincinnati's been improving. So I think I actually may have picked Cincinnati. I got to look at my pick 'em, but I'm not. I have not been impressed with Lamar more than, I've drafted him too high. I think if I had to redo it over.
This is going to be another very, very cold game. So I'm expecting a game time temperature around 13
Mhm,
at Cincinnati, which is cold by Cincinnati standards.
mhm,
And wind shouldn't be a factor, should be less than 10 miles an hour. Although in those cold games, I think even a little bit of wind
mhm.
goes a long way for making it feel even colder and nastier. So I do like Cincinnati in this one. I just don't like the direction Baltimore's going in right now. Cincinnati's defense has actually been a little bit better the last few weeks, where they've been getting more out of their guys, turning the ball over a little bit. So I'd avoid the kickers in here because of the cold. I'm just a little bit worried about them being able to have the longer kicks. I think anything over 40 is going to be tough in these conditions. So I'd be reluctant to play the kickers, but I'll take Cincinnati and I'll take the under in here. I think both teams might struggle a little bit in the cold. Our huskiest of husky games, Detroit and the LA Rams. Oh my goodness. There is a lot of offensive firepower in this one.
Every time I see Detroit away, I get this home away worry that I have, Dennis. They 23% less efficiency away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. But the Rams actually love uh, love away. They're 21% less efficient at
Wow.
home.
Wow.
So each team is not where they want to be. 33-21. They got Detroit not being able to keep up with the Rams, -6, 55. I think Detroit's going to score more than you think here. Detroit, uh, Sonic and Knuckles need to be Sonic and Knuckles here for a tough DAP. Rams are tough, but they're easy on the tight end. I don't even know who their tight end is now. And the wide receiver, the Sun God should collect. JMO should collect. So, but I'm not playing any of the D's. Not happy with the kicker. Uh, the Rams, it's all about the passing all the time. Dennis, it's just how many touchdowns is Stafford? I mean, Stafford is a must use this week. I do have some Cody Parkey. I probably have to play, and I'm not happy. But so it's tough. Kicker looks good, but it looks like the rushing is going to be tough for the Rams here. They've been splitting with Corum and Kerwin a little bit. That doesn't help. So bad DAP. They've been splitting. I guess you may have to play them both to collect something. I don't know which one's going to get it. And Rams love to pass at home, exactly what the Detroit's giving them. And Detroit loves to rush, and there's your issue right there. So they're going to have to rely on the passing to get them in this game. So there's going to be a lot of passing from Detroit, Dennis, to try to keep up with the Rams. So this could be last team with the ball can win. I think it's that close.
Yeah, this is a very interesting game when you break it down like that. And looking at these DAPs, I'm not playing Kyron Williams in my guillotine league this week because I've got some other options that I can play. And I always like to maximize my matchups as much as I can in that league. Oh boy, this is game even with a high over under because both teams will probably have to pass and because both teams will probably have success with the pass. I'm leaning into it. And here's the thing. I understand Detroit's got that big home away gap. Looking at the MVP data for their players,
Yeah.
the home away gap isn't as great when they're playing indoors. And they're playing indoors here. So I think Detroit will find it rather comfortable at LA and no problem with their passing game. I'm going to play Detroit in this one. I'm going to pick Detroit, and I'm even going to pick the over despite the big number. I could see this being a passing fest in this game on Sunday afternoon. Might be the most entertaining of the late games tomorrow. And I just lean in. You cannot find enough wide receivers from Detroit and LA to put into the starting lineup. You're playing both, Puka and Adams with smiles on your face and starting the Sun God and Jamison Williams with smiles on your face. And I think as a result, you got to play both quarterbacks as well. So I'm going to take Detroit in an upset on the road. I definitely like them with the points because I think this is going to come down to a last minute field goal. So head on over to the scienceoffantasyfootball.com. You can check out all the professor's data. He will have all of that fancy matchup data for you for each and every game. Head on over to Twitter. Keep an eye on DMike Media. I'll give you some weather updates tomorrow before the games. And of course, head on back here to the sports affiliation. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel because there is a great show going on every day of the week. And come on back here next week for another edition of the Matchup Lab.
Get to work, folks.